Shooting?
Yeah.
Alright, hey, I'm Rye, and today I'm going to show you how to build the Temazcal fire. A couple ways to do this. You can just build a fire and put the rocks in as you go, which is one way that I'll do it, but tonight we're having an ayahuasca ceremony and we'll be doing the Temazcal early in the morning, and when we do that I usually like to build the fire with the rocks in it so it's prepared, and then in the morning I just grab some of the burning wood from the fire from the night before, move it over, and get the fire started that way. So the first thing we're gonna have to do is make sure that we've got our materials ready. See, I've got a big old pile of wood here. I've got the stones ready over here, and the one thing that I need to collect a little bit of is leaves, and that's the first thing that we're going to put in here is a big old pile of dried banana leaves. So you can see there's lots of banana plants around. Very easy to come here and collect these leaves. Got this box that I'm using to collect tinder in right now. So obviously I'm only collecting the dead ones. I'm not ripping any fresh leaves off the banana plants because for one, they wouldn't burn very well, and also the bananas need them. So this should be pretty good what I've got here. I'm going to start it out with this, and then if I need any more as we go along, I'll add some more. It's good to remember that this is a sacred fire that we're building, so you just want to build it with lots of presence and awareness. There's also some coffee leaves in here. They'll burn too, not as well as the banana leaves, but they'll work. As long as we got these banana leaves in. Probably gonna have to collect some more, but this should be good to get started. Basic concept of building a fire is you want to start with what we call tinder. So that's like your banana leaves. It's something light that catches fire really easily, burns really hot, and will burn fast. But we can't just use all banana leaves because then they'll burn away really quickly. We got to build up the fire, adding smaller pieces of wood on top of that are also going to catch fire pretty quickly from the banana leaves. And then on top of that, bigger sticks, on top of that, bigger pieces of wood. So this is some wood that we collected from the forest back here. It's still got to be processed a little bit, so I'm going to grab my handy dandy machete here and cut some of this up, because the next thing I want to add on here is going to be little twiggy stuff like this. I want to get quite a bit of that going. So more or less the same as the leaves. I just want to kind of build a nice bed of these twigs on top of the leaves, and once the leaves get burning, these twigs will catch on pretty quick, and then they'll burn for longer than the leaves will, and so the sticks that we'll put on top of that will be able to catch fire from that. I think it's important when working with these materials to take some time to feel gratitude for the plants that give them to us. In this case, it's mostly wood from the coffee trees around. You can do that in whichever way you feel is appropriate. For me, it's just having that awareness that this was once a living thing, and it has given its body so that we can heal and receive its medicine. I want to make sure this is spread out pretty well, so as we put the rocks on, it's going to take up a lot of space, and I want to make sure that the fire is going to be burning all underneath of it. And as we go, we're going to add more layers of wood with the rocks. But I think we're ready to start putting some bigger sticks on this and kind of building up a bed for the rocks to sit on. What we don't want to do is put the rocks right on top of everything and let them smother it, because then it's not going to have any airflow in there to burn. So what we got to do is make basically a layer of sticks, and I tend to sit them on top of these rocks like this. And then that way I've got something to put the stones on, and they won't just smother all of the material that's underneath. I don't want these sticks that I'm putting on right now to be too big, because then they won't catch fire from the smaller stuff underneath. So I'll put a row going one way, and then I'll put another row going the other way, and that way I've got a sort of lattice for the rocks to sit on so that they won't fall through. Nobody actually showed me to do anything this way. This is just kind of how I figured it out, and it seems to work for me. So it takes a little more planning and preparation to build it this way and to do it with the rocks in the fire and have it all ready to go. But you'll see when we light it up that it goes up pretty quick, and it's a nice way of doing it. One thing I'm thinking about too as I'm building this is as the fire starts to burn and the wood starts to burn away, the rocks are going to begin to fall into the fire. And what I'm trying to do, to the best of my ability, is make sure that they don't fall outward. I want them to all fall in toward the center as much as possible. So I should have 32 here. It's not always the same number, but we usually do, around here, we do 4 rounds of 8 stones. So 32 is a good number. And then we will also have one that goes in, one extra that goes in, and that's called the Watcher or the Guardian, and that one stays in the fire. So there will be 33 total. So I count them as I go along. I'm starting with the biggest ones here. I'm putting them in the center, and that'll make it a little easier as we go along to keep it all contained. So I think I'm going to throw in some more twiggy stuff in here, just so that there's wood all throughout that's burning. Oh, that was a good one. How to build a Temazcal fire and get an infected cut on your foot. This is just going to ensure that when we start up the fire, that there's going to be flame all throughout, making it burn nice and hot and getting all the bigger pieces of wood going. your big tinder bundle, your twigs on top, the sticks on top, and your bigger wood on top of that. But with the rocks in there, it's just added complication. So basically I'm building new layers of fire around each layer of rocks. And one thing to keep in mind too is that I usually like to leave a bit of an opening around here, and ideally on both sides around here, to bring in coals from the other fire and put them in to get this fire going in the morning. So again, with the rocks, same as any of the other materials, I'm placing them very consciously. We call them the abuelas, grandmothers, and so I don't just throw them in and hope for the best. I place them very carefully and with gratitude for all that they endure for us. I think that's 20. So that's 32. This one here and this one were originally one, but they've broken. So now we've got 33 with this, which is perfect. So that's what we'll do. Now I'm going to build up on the outside. Again, starting with smaller stuff. Slightly bigger pieces now. We should have no trouble lighting this up in the morning, getting it going, and then after it's going, we'll add on some bigger stuff to keep it going. And then the fire burns for at least 2 hours to get the stones nice and hot. So we'll come back in the morning and light it up, see how it goes.